Mm. So good to see you. Hey. Oh dear. My love. Okay, you can ask questions. Feel free to speak if you want. Yes, yes. Mm. Very good. Oh yes. You see, you enter the infinite inside of you, and you don't get lost. You can't get lost because I'm going to tell you a secret. Okay, when you know nothing, you can't get lost. If you know something, you get lost. So, for example, I used to go to London and to do satsangs, and my driver was lost many times, and he was looking at me and said, why are you so happy and relaxed there? We're completely lost. So, no, mate, you're lost, not me, because I never been to London. You need to know that what you're looking at, you don't recognize. But I don't recognize anything all the time. So either I'm all the time lost or I'm never lost. So I look and I recognize everything as home, but I don't recognize the building. So I'm not lost. So London is mine, you see. And yes, London is mine. And you need to know something so sufficiently for you to declare that you're lost. But if you know nothing, you can't get lost. Try it. This is a secret I'm sharing with you today. For example, if you say to yourself, oh, I should be more patient, then you know that you should be more patient. It got you. Knowledge got you. And then it got you by the leg. Yeah. And then when you're not patient, you're in conflict because you should be more patient. So therefore you're lost. You see, you're lost because you don't know how to find patience. Because you need to find patience, because you need to have more patience, because you should have more patience. But is the knowledge that you should be more patient that is getting you lost. So every knowledge will get you lost. This is something strange, maybe I'm sharing with you, but you know, in a context of self-awareness, this is so true. This is so true. The realization that really to know something is a bit of a bad joke of reasoning, because first it builds up something, it created out of nothing, and then it declares to know it. So you can say observation. Even what we observe, we interpret. So the observation creates a conclusion, and the conclusion is knowledge. But there is an observation that doesn't create conclusions. There is a kind of observation that doesn't create conclusions. And that is called contemplation. See? When you observe without mind, when you observe without framing things into name and form and how they are or who they are, you just observe with openness and silence in you. And that has a quality of meditation in itself that you bring into it. You bring into what you observe, because you're not operating from a mind that you're calling everything by the name. And this is extremely interesting to find, particularly when you apply it to yourself, because then you realize that you thought you knew yourself. And that's why you were searching. But the day you stop knowing yourself, the day you start being yourself rather than knowing yourself, you don't need to search anymore. And this is so beautiful and so enormous that I'd like to share with you today. I'd like to share with you to see where those seeds land, and if they germinate somewhere in your garden. You see, this is a seed spreading process called Satsang. Yeah. And we are spreading this consciousness in you for you to give itself a chance to see maybe, just maybe, you don't know yourself, you see. You don't know yourself. And that's the biggest blessing, the day you realize you don't know yourself. Because what you're abandoning is the false self that you used to know. Because what we are cannot be known. It's too broad for the mind. The mind is that system that creates concepts of name and form. And you cannot fit this in this immense awareness of consciousness that is limitless into its own framing process. So so long as you know yourself, you will search. When you stop knowing yourself in that context, you will not look for anything else. Because what was bothering you was that you knew too much. And the moment you come to a place where I am sharing from where I know nothing, you see, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. But then this kind of thing happens, that there is this fight inside, and there is an ego wanting to know and wanting to have control, and that desire is bigger than the moment you are ready to actually appreciate the simple, gentleness of a shadow, you see? Because you need torching sun. You need the torching sun for you to say, this shadow is just beautiful, you see? I'm just sitting under this shadow here, under this tree, because it's just beautiful. And it's so generous because it just offers itself to me. But I cannot own it. Can I say this is my shadow? I cannot have it when I want it, because if the sun is not there, I don't need it. And to be the self that you don't know and that you don't attempt to know is the end of the search. Every search comes from knowledge. Every search comes from knowledge. Check it out. Now, we're not all of us meant to see this way. We have different personalities, but I'm sharing my way of seeing, and I'm trying to inspire you and for you to corroborate and see, okay, actually, that's true for me too. That is so true. I very often thought of these, and now I'm just listening to someone talking about it. So that gives me the reassurance that I'm not alone in that conclusions, you see? And this is also what satsang is about. to give you the reassurance of something that intuitively you know. Intuitively you know, and you don't know where to get support from because you just don't have any context to relate it with. It's very difficult to talk about it. You're very lonely in that. So therefore, I'm just sharing with you these things. I'm sharing with you these things. Every search comes from knowledge. Every need comes from ego. There's no way out. And therefore, you find peace in the absence of knowledge. It's the most blissful state. But it seems to be the most difficult thing to admit that in fact, you know nothing. What you say you know, you're repeating somebody telling you or somebody taught it to you and you accepted it. But it's not your experience. In truth, you know nothing. And it's all about depending how long it takes you to admit it for you to have peace permanently in your heart. Because it takes you time to admit that, maybe. But every knowledge, see, every knowledge is like extremely heavy in the light of consciousness, because consciousness is without any weight, you see, without any dimension, without any names. Everything we know frames a little bit of nothingness and creates more framing and demands more framing. And so we start with this nature of interpretation into ourselves. Who do we think we are? The story of us, what we tell our people or our friends who we are. The name we've been put when we were born. Did we forget that we were born without name? The one that was born without name, still here without name. It has not become the one with name. That's where you find peace, in the no name of you. In the name of you, you don't find peace. Because the name of you is a project, a set of frustrations, amazing amount of aims, and so on. But the non-name you, the you without name, is pristine, effortlessly present, permanently present. It's the background upon which everything else is built on. So we have to dismantle all the knowledge. You see, we have to question everything. So we don't have the feeling that peace is gone. Because we don't question everything, we buy stories, you know. And we buy stories about us, and we buy stories of how we should be, and we buy stories of how we should not be. And stories are stories. They're not better stories than other stories. You see, that's why peace is also called the truth, because the truth is not a story. It's none of the stories. The truth is in a way of speaking, is not another story. Is the truth. We might not like it. We might not be ready for it. Whatever, but it's the truth. And the truth is that you have no name.